Hello, my darlings. I am coming to take a moment or two on perimenopause because for those of us who are neurodivergent or just neurosensitive, um, perimenopause can be a huge challenge, as can be puberty, um, PMS, which often for most of us ends up being more like PMDD, and pregnancy, postpartum, and perimenopause, menopause. All of the big hormonal shifts can be extra challenging for neurodivergent or neurosensitive people. And doctors can be like, dismissive, like, oh, it shouldn't be this hard or it shouldn't be that bad, or just like try taking antidepressant. They can be very quick to send you towards psych meds, which I'm not opposed to psych meds. It's just that if you're having a hormonal challenge, psych meds won't address the hormonal challenge. And so I just wanted to come on and share a little bit about my journey. I also am a trans non-binary person who, being assigned female at birth, still has functioning ovaries, even though I've been taking a low dose of testosterone. So while I haven't been bleeding for the past couple of years, I have been having perimenopause symptoms because my ovaries are not, there's not enough testosterone to shut my ovaries down. So I still have a phantom cycle and I still have perimenopause stuff. And um, I'm sort of in this weird in between where I don't hear a lot of my experience reflected. And I don't have doctors who understand my experience. And so I thought I would share because I've learned a lot since there was not much information available. So, if you are a person in perimenopause who's also taking a low dose of testosterone, first things first is that with the testosterone, you're gonna get vaginal dryness. But when you compound that with perimenopause, the drop in estrogen that creates systemic dryness, you're gonna get like double vaginal dryness, which um, is actually like holds in it vulva dryness or labia dryness. So that exterior tissue on the outside of your body, in addition to the, vaginal canal, which is like where you might put a tampon. Both of those areas are going to be experiencing dryness, and that tissue is going to become less strong. It's going to become more tissue papery so that it can actually get cut or irritated or like kind of like rug burn more easily. And for my situation, my doctors kept being like you're like it should be fine, it should be fine. Or they were like, it's a yeast infection. I'm like, it's not a yeast infection. It's very specifically different. And because I walk every day, there's a lot of friction that comes in that area. And so it was like compounding on top of compounding on top of compounding. And it was creating a lot of distress for me. So this past 2 weeks, I have had three doctor's appointments, two with my regular doctor, who then like consulted with other doctors and then referred me to more doctors. And he was basically saying the other complexity for me is that I have a significant mental health history, with suicidality being something that has been very present throughout my experience, and so they're very hesitant to put me on estrogen because of that. And then I think my doctor just also didn't feel confident in prescribing for me. He's like a trans health specialist, but pretty stuck in that binary of like, oh, just take more testosterone. I'm like, well, that's not what I'm wanting. Um, so he was, I think, feeling conflicted and confused. And um, something I am so proud of doing is that I followed through and just went and made an appointment with a specialist that was out of pocket through something called Midi Health. And I learned about it on Instagram, but super thrilled with my experience. The doctor um, was thoughtful, took time. I did not feel rushed. I didn't have to wait at all for my appointment. My appointment started when my appointment time was, whereas with my doctor, my appointment started. an hour after my appointment time and lasted for 5 minutes. Um, this appointment lasted for how long they said it would, a half hour. It started when it said it would, and the intake was thorough. I felt like the person, without being a trans health specialist, was able to be very trans affirming and trans supportive, and also hear me and not just put me into a category or a box and hear my symptoms and hear about my mental health concerns. And she was so proficient. She basically helped me to understand that there are two different kinds of estrogen. One that is more likely to increase suicidality, and I am not a medical professional, so please speak with a medical professional. But just for your reference, if you want to take this information to your medical professional and see what they have to say about it, she said that birth control is the one that can lead to more suicidality, which is what I had taken before and had an uptick in my suicidality when I was young. And she said the estrogen patch that she put me on does not. And it's the estradiol transdermal system. 0.0375 milligrams per day, and you switch it twice weekly, that one is less likely. And she put me on one of the lower doses. And then she put me on, so whenever you're taking estrogen, if you have a uterus, you also need to take progesterone to protect against uterine cancer. And there is two types of progesterone as well. One is the one that people regularly take, which is the micronized progesterone, which I have a lot of friends who take that, but that one apparently can increase suicidality. And there's another kind, which is called norethindrone, and it is a progesterone based birth control pill. So it looks like, your typical birth control pill with the days numbered. And it is less likely to increase suicidality. So she was able to give me both the estrogen and progesterone to help me with my symptoms of hot flashes, sleep interruption, extreme fatigue, mood instability, forgetfulness, and the systemic dryness. So I also ended up having like vision changes because my eyes got so dry from the drop in estrogen, or like the unstable and like big highs and lows of estrogen. And so the patch will keep me on a steady dose of estrogen, and the progesterone will help balance out um, make sure there's not going to be, a buildup of the lining in the uterus. But it'll also help with some of those other things. I can't remember how it divvies up, but anyways, I am so grateful and so thrilled, and really highly recommend, if you are in a position where your doctor's kind of giving you the runaround, telling you you're too young, or they can't really tell, or they're not ready, or they're not confident, or referring you to endless people and you can't get the care that you need. Really recommend checking in with MIDI Health. Um, it was $250 for the evaluation. And if you have certain insurances, they do have insurance coverage. They just didn't have my insurance. And so I just saved up for it. And I'm so grateful that I did, because I just felt incredibly heard. I feel incredibly supportive. I am a week into taking these, and I feel great. I have had no side effects, no anything other than an improvement in all areas, and specifically with my eyes. My eyes feel like 100% great again, which I'm like, what? How did that happen so fast? And my vaginal dryness or vulva dryness is a little bit better. I would say that I'm also taking the estradiol vaginal cream, and have been. I think I just have like severe dryness from the double whammy of perimenopause and testosterone, and she is um saying that once I get into a rhythm with the estrogen and progesterone, that will try and decrease my testosterone, which I was originally taking for perimenopause symptoms and not for masculinizing effects. So I'm okay with decreasing it as long as um, the perimenopause symptoms are supported. So that should help. And then in the meantime, I have to super, super recommend. I have tried like every cream and vulva, cream and everything on the planet, including like benzocaine, like lidocaine type cream, dermoplast, which is like just numb things out. Um, I've tried, all sorts of things, and I never came across Replens, and I do not know why, but I finally have seen Replens on, again, Instagram. And that is what she recommended too. And it is a game changer. They make two products. One is, I think they have a third product, but I can't remember what it is. One is the external comfort gel, and you can use this one sort of like it's like an eye drop, you know. You can use eye drops as like often as you want. My doctor told me to just keep that moisture in there. And this is kind of like that. You can put this on as often as you want. It's just gonna do exterior moisturizing. Um, External comfort gel. I'll put a link to both of these. Um, so excellent and not irritating at all. All of the other things were slightly irritating to me. And then this one is similar to the vaginal estrogen where you insert it, but you don't have to use one of those insert like syringe things. You could also just put it up there with your finger if you feel comfortable. And it's called Replens Long Lasting Vaginal Moisturizer, and it can moisturize up to 3 days. Oh, the third product they have is a lubricant. I don't have a sexual partner, so I didn't need that. But these two are so awesome. I super highly recommend adding this to your repertoire if you're experiencing any of the vaginal dryness. And then last but not least, some people have smell changes of their body odor with perimenopause, and that because I'm very sensory sensitive and smells bother me a lot, that really bothered me. And this Lumi long-lasting deodorant. It's not a antiperspirant, but it's a whole body deodorant and it lasts up to 72 hours. And it is so remarkable. You can put it in your in your vaginal area, in your anywhere on your entire body. You can not just your armpits. And I highly recommend this in conjunction with all of these good things. So I just wanted to share because I know that perimenopause can be so extremely challenging for neurodivergent people, and there were so few people, or I really nobody. I haven't heard anybody talk about perimenopause while taking a low dose of testosterone. So I wanted to share my experience around that. If anybody else has ideas or questions, please share. We can help each other by talking about these things. So few people do. And I really, I don't want to do it alone, and I don't think anybody else does either. So please share, please share. Lots of love.